Ms. Wraithmill, what's the greatest driver of bird mortality? It's been suggested by the gentleman to my left that it's actually cats. It's not true. My wife's a veterinarian. She suggests that, it's not cats either, but I don't believe her. So my question to you is, do these bills appropriately address, focus upon, and prioritize your view of what's the greatest driver of mortality? And if not, what should we do differently in the bills? Right, and so one of the, forgive me for going so rapidly here, but we're going to be called to the floor soon. So is the money that's being spent is doing something good, and the measure of that good is what I'm interested in, and I'm going to move to Dr. Colden with a similar question in a moment, but the measure of the good, how many millions of birds have been saved as a result of the money that we're spending?
How many millions of birds? My apologies. But I think that we can look at the acres that have been protected, particularly and wintering grounds, as a proxy for the number of birds.
What I would be interested in, if perhaps you can share it, is the measure of good that these expenditures are achieving, not just broad general swipes at, yes, we throw money at it and it gets better. I'd like to see the numbers. Dr. Colden, I actually asked Ms. Robinson this yesterday in regard to the education aspect of some of these bills. And I was on school boards in the past, actually 2 of them for a number of years. And I would repeatedly ask for measures of performance, measures of outcomes. And I heard a lot of general statements about how great this educational effort is. Tell me, what's your measure of that greatness?
So there are studies that show that the increase in academic performance, particularly in the areas of science and math and other STEM fields, do benefit from environmental education and curricula that is developed under these programs.
Can you stop there for a second? Mm-hmm. Now, these bills are not designed, at least I don't think they are, to drive educational output in STEM. They're designed, as I thought, that were for purposes of environmental benefit. Now, perhaps the definition of environmental benefit is such that STEM fits in there someplace, but almost seems like that would belong in a different committee. But share with me why you think that would be a measure of good that these bills are trying to drive.
Exactly. So as I mentioned previously, this is a long-term effort, and we need to be building the scientific workforce that can drive these restoration projects long-term. So by getting students interested in STEM fields and then supporting them through career development, through middle school, high school, and through college, we're building the workforce that can help continue the work of Chesapeake Bay restoration.
I may well agree with you. Can you show me the study that proves what you just said?
I will follow up with whatever metrics that we have available with the committee. I'm happy to do that.
That would be, and you forgive me for being so abrupt, but we're going to be out of time here soon. Mr. Cassidy, elaborate on what you think U.S. Fish and Wildlife isn't doing correctly. I think you were alluding to how things could be done better.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate the question. I want to look back to, I mentioned CITES. Where we have a very outsized role on that international stage. We're 1 out of 183 parties, 1 vote, but a lot of countries around the world look to us and the positions that we take. I want to say I attended the last convention of parties in Panama City, where we as a country took positions that were against sustainable use. I want to just say that it came as a surprise, I think, an unpleasant one, to a number of our partners. I think that that goes to needs to have stronger, better consultative processes and more transparency with how we arrive at the votes we end up taking as a nation at these conventions.
Thank you. I'll have to stop you there. I really appreciate your answers, and I want to thank all the witnesses for their testimony and the members for their questions. The members of the committee may have additional questions for the witnesses, and we'll ask you to respond to these in writing. Under Committee Rule 3, members of the committee must submit questions to the subcommittee clerk by 5 p.m. Eastern on Monday, October 23rd. The hearing record will be held open for 10 business days for these responses. If there's no further business, without objection, the subcommittee stands adjourned. Thank you.